Cats, I am set up here with the iPad. I'm gonna do some live Q&A with the Kickstarter, and then I got Greenland on the back burner here because apparently there's some gems in here that we're supposed to pay attention to. So, yeah, let's get into it. What's something new you plan to share this month? Well, Kickstarter.
Camera at this moment, but the city is mostly burning.
Again, this live stream video that's gone viral. We have to warn you.
I'm gonna turn it down just a scotch.
Downtown, it's on fire, man.
Yeah, how quickly things can turn, right? Well, Kickstarter, the entire Wampus verse expansion is exhilarating. Wait, exhilarating. Ugh. Fix that, please. Thank you. But the one thing I have to admit I am most excited about is the forthcoming Wampus verse rematriation deck. Helping people rematriate their lives quest by quest, day by day, untangling from the patriarchy day by day. Not in my usual setup, so forgive me. That really excites me. Alrighty. Describe the moment when you hit launch on your project. What did it feel like? 20 years ago, I raised $4,000 on Kickstarter for my first book, Couple Friends. This time around, it was, I'm gonna say, and I was so plumb proud. This time around, it was more of like a quiet relief. The Kickstarter will likely fail spectacularly, but the process of laying out the entire Wampus verse within the Kickstarter container was an excellent exercise for gaining some even more clarity around the mission of the Rematriation Rebellion. Boom! Kickstarter asks, how did you know it was time to share your idea through a Kickstarter project? After 8 months of building, planning, dreaming, and scheming, it felt like the right time to launch a Kickstarter to really break down what the Wampus verse and the Rematriation Rebellion are all about. This new 9-year cycle that we just entered, cough, cough, are still entering until the spring equinox, because New Year's Eve is a lie when you anyway, yeah, New Year's Eve is this lie because it's like we're still in the freezing cold hibernation time, and it's another way for the patriarchy to manipulate time. No way. It's spring, growth, renewal. We're still hibernating, we're still incubating, we're still integrating. Okay. Yeah. This powerful cycle in humanity's history. With the horrifying Agenda 2030 looming and all the war, violence, fear, caging of 600,000 women per year through involuntary psych holds, jail containment, which I have experienced 4 times, is another word for solitary confinement with no judges, orders, no charges, no crimes, no phone call, and police brutality mixed in for good measure. So 2034, building the rematriation OS in the cracks of the patriarchy is the only path to world abundance at this point. We have to ignore their agenda and build alongside of it while it systematically destroys itself. We do not wait for collapse 26 to happen. We leapfrog to cycle 27 and then sprint like maniacs to cycle 100. It's all laid out in the Wampus verse. Hop around the website www.riseofwampus.org, which is set up like a game all on its own, with plenty of Easter eggs throughout. What kind of feedback is Kickstarter asks, what kind of feedback is most helpful to receive when sharing creative work? At this point, with the onslaught of competing with AI, we need as creatives, advice on how to gain supporters, benefactors, investors, paying customers, and anything else that sustains our basic needs while we are creating art of the revolution. It is extremely difficult to pierce through and create cash flow when you are targeted, when you are labeled as a controversial voice and are shadow banned and suppressed online, even through email. So connections, shares, introductions, that is the most impactful way to help us at this point. We don't need feedback on our work. We need feedback on being able to fund our lives. Okay, let me read that one. I don't know what I said, so we're just going to start that one over. Kickstarter asks, what kind of feedback is most helpful to receive when sharing creative work? I almost want to say none, because you can't comment on someone's creative work. I mean, we've got stick figures to, super complicated work. That's weird. I don't think you really give feedback on someone's work. It's from their heart and their soul. But I didn't write all that. Here we go. At this point, with the onslaught of competing with AI, we need, as creatives, advice on how to gain supporters, benefactors, investors, paying customers, and anything else that sustains our basic needs while we are creating art of the revolution. It is extremely difficult to pierce through and create cash flow when you are labeled as a controversial voice and are shadow banned and suppressed online, even through email. So, connections, shares, introductions, that is the most impactful way to help us at this point. We don't need feedback on our work. We need feedback on being able to fund our lives to keep creating as we enter the next frontier for humanity. Next question from Kickstarter. How has putting your project into the world changed things for you? Love it. Let me answer that. Let's see. It gives me a way to document this specific 30-day journey in building the Wampus verse and the Rematriation Rebellion. So far, no one cares. So far, it's not resonating. But I know that this is my life's purpose. When 600,000 women per year are caged through involuntary psych holds, when only 15% meet the danger criteria, then my mission is clear. I will keep howling at the system and the patriarchy until this no longer happens. The horror of knowing firsthand what happens inside those walls, the dehumanization that we are all seeing from the streets of Minnesota to the D blocks of Savannah emergency room. We are under attack from the global militarization funded by psychotic billionaires who are trying to buy their immortality. And they will do anything to distract us from that reality. Because once everyone realizes that it's us versus the elites, many of whom are pedophiles, then we will be undefeated. Can you share a photo or video of something you're working on right now? Okay, sure. I'm going to share the first episode of The Filthy Mirror because that lays out the industrial complex's complex that the patriarchy thrives on, and it really lays out everything that we are working on and how everything is tied together, and it's just really one problem, and that problem is the patriarchy OS. So yes, let's go to Substack, and we're gonna grab that very first Filthy Mirror episode, because that really lays out the vision and why we need funding, why we need support. You know, we are on the front lines of the media rebellion here, and yeah, we need freaking support. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's what's up. I love that. Okay. The Filthy Mirror is the daily video broadcast I'm doing a la pump up the volume. I start with the chant, mirror, mirror, fogged and loud. What truth? What truth? I like a semicolon there. What truth today makes the future proud? This is an homage to the Mandela effect around the Snow White controversy. And it's just a fun angle to film from because you can see at least 3 of me in the sides of this mirror. So it becomes like a fun house mirror where you could argue 2 generations back are over my shoulder supporting me, or 2 generations ahead where my future self is waiting in 2034 living the full rematriation lifestyle. Alright, so we're gonna go. Oh, did I mess up? Shoot. Oh, I got it. I think I already did it. There we go. Yeah, that's great. I like it. That's really good. Okay, that's it. That's the Kickstarter questionnaire. That was really fun. Great questions. If you have questions, pop them in here. These videos only last, I think, 7 days on Twitch. So if you have a question, I'm happy to answer it. I love it because it's a conversation. And I think it's super fun to be on the riff and just like be organic and be in the moment. So that was fun. Thank you, Kickstarter. Thank you, Twitch, for watching. And thank you for hanging out with me live in a different setup. This was a great test. I actually really enjoy like working on the laptop, kind of ignoring, not to be mean, but like the camera's there, but I'm not really paying attention. And then I get to turn and talk to you. So kind of a cool alternative setup that doesn't take all 3 of the Mevo cameras. And, you know, that can be a lot, especially because I change location. So got to set it up different every time. So this was a fast, easy, where I didn't have to use a laptop because that sucks. And you can't go live on the iPad until you have like 1,000 followers and all this crap. So yeah, this was a good workaround. I didn't have to use my video raw space on the iPad. I'm live on Twitch, and now I can go to my Twitch dashboard on the laptop, download the video, chop it up, share it, blah, blah, blah. But this was a great way to capture the live using the iPad, still get to work on the laptop where it's not like looking at me while I'm working. Like, that's not the vibe. This is at least sort of cute. I don't have the cutest pants on, but that's okay. This is super cute. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. It's so soft. It's so soft. It's like a hug all the time. And it's like camel. I mean, it's like cashmere, but like it washes normal. So I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, and it's funny, like I didn't wear the Wampus hat because I really only wear it during the Filthy Mirror, but that's what I do the most and most consistently and try to do every day. And somebody on YouTube yesterday or the couple days this week said, "Are you a furry? Do you think you're an animal? I'm not trying to be rude." I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, it's fine. Like, who cares, I guess, right? If you are a furry, not a furry. But it's like, look at my freaking page. You can see that I do ball caps. I do this hat. I do my hair sometimes. I do the wolf hat a lot, but it's fun. It's cozy. It's winter. It's on brand. Wampus Cat is its own personality. The Filthy Mirror is its own beast. And I know that everybody wants more Picklesaurus, and I'm getting there. I think part of me, I don't like doing her voice for her because I already have throat issues as it is. Just me talking. So to do a voice of her is like straining, and I'm not good at accents. So I got to get back on 11 Labs and give you guys more Picklesaurus. I'm definitely going to make that happen. But as always, it's endless work in the revolution. And the revolution will be digitized. The revolution will be AI-ified. The revolution will be through the laptop warriors. I know there's protests going on. I know there's a lot of boots on the ground, but we got to remember that that's not for all of us. If you're already targeted If you know that you're facing erasure attempts, I would not go to protests. They're going to use these protests as perfect reasons to throw you in an involuntary psych hold or throw you in jail, which is now solitary confinement, because they can do these like jail containments. So you just got to be careful, you guys. Like, I get it. Activism is important, and I've marched and I've been arrested in DC. Like, I'm not saying don't, but I'm saying if we need you as an intellectual in this battle, and as a laptop warrior, as a leader, as a voice, like, just be careful. It's scary out there right now. If you're a targeted individual, if you know you're facing shadow banning and suppression online, then you need to be extra careful out in the world too. It's just like they're looking for an excuse. They're looking for an excuse sometimes. So keep that in mind. Go live on Twitch. This is freaking awesome. Then you can download it. You can chop it up. It's pretty much the only place you can go live on your iPad unless you have a bunch of followers on your other apps. And not wasting, storage on your iPad, which is pretty awesome. And I much rather like work off of my laptop when I'm really like editing or chopping or sharing. It's just so much easier than on the iPad. So experiment was worth it. And I'm going to start scheduling Twitch events. I think, having a weekly fire, having rematriation lessons, living examples, all that fun stuff, like really kind of get more into that. So thanks whoever's watching. It looks like I got one viewer. Thank you. As I'm playing with this setup, and sometimes for me it's easier to talk it out. And thank you to Kickstarter for the great questions.